Okay. Hello, everyone. Today we discuss about materials. Okay. This session will provide you introduction about materials. As usual, I will create here launch, right? Launch here 5.1.0. So in this session, we will start the very basic material introduction. Okay. Okay, I choose here the games, and I choose here as the third person template, and I give my file name as material, right? First session. Right, it should not go more than 20 characters. Or maybe first session 1. Okay. So make sure that I enable all the information. I press here, create. So I think that you guys do not have any questions from the previous sessions. Okay. Okay, still it's loading. Okay, so we have got here, right? Okay, still it's preparing shaders, right? So the first information, first I click, I will create here new folder, then I will name it as my objects or maybe my materials, everything you can just give my materials, my material. Right, once you have created a folder, because I wanted to keep inside this folder, so once you create the folder, double click on this, and now you right click and select material. Okay, right click and select material, and remember the name we should start M. Understand? So the last time we practiced, okay, so M underscore, so that easy to find out in later. So M underscore material underscore right 0. So once you have done here, and double click on this, right? Double click on this, that will take you into a material editor. So the material editor will open in a new window. Understand? So if you want to keep it as a new window is okay. If not, maybe you can just keep beside your scene, so that I can easily switch between the scene and material editor. Very easy. And now you notice here near the 0 on the top, right? There is a some mark, right? Right? So that actually indicates that the file is not saved, right? Okay, the file is not yet saved here. So once you save this file, it won't be appear here. Okay. Okay, so once you get into this, the material editor, you can just find the menu on top, file, right? And then edit and asset and window. So this window which comes with that the options, many options here, right? So below here, you can see here details and parameters, right? There are two informations, detail panel and parameter panel. So if you disable, right, if you close it, later you can just bring, right, this detail information by enable here. Okay, by enable here. Okay, so next one, you can see here the viewport. So in the scene itself, we have here as a viewport. The same way, material editor also we have here as a viewport. And this viewport is also what will help us to view, look around here. right? You can switch to, if you want to see that the information, if you want to, here is a ball, if you want to keep it as a cylinder, you can just click on the cylinder. You can have a look here, right? Or maybe if you want to see that there's a plane, right? Or maybe here as a cube. It's a cube, simple cube, right? Okay, so below that, the details panel, we can see that the parameter name and then other particulars we can just give and be able to edit here, right? Is it right? Okay, so now save and apply. And all the rest of the icons, maybe slowly I will tell you, then easily you can understand those information. So now you look at here, the name of the material, I mean the name I have given here, M underscore material underscore 0, right? So you can see here, which is appear on the input. So this is actually, which is called that is an input, right? Input form. And the black surface, I mean the black area, which is called here is a graph. There we are going to bring the functions to what to connect, and then we will get that the different types of the colors, or maybe what the colors we want, we could get, and we later on be able to what to apply on the static mesh. Okay, so that is very clear. So if you want to pan the screen, right? If you want to pan the screen, left click, right click, right mouse right click, and then you just pan it here, right? Okay, so now scroll, use that the middle mouse button to scroll in and scroll out, so that you can zoom in and you can just zoom out here. This is the basic function, right? Okay, so now next one, what we can do here, so one is a cylinder, and second one is a ball, third one is a plane, and the fourth one actually is a cube. And how about the last one? So now you go here, right? And then you just choose static mesh SM underscore chair, CHAI or chair. Okay, so now I just select here this chair. Now if I want to bring this, the component, the static mesh, you just click here. You can just get the chair here, right? That's why they have provided. So you can just bring that exactly the static mesh, and you can start to apply the colors, then you can check, right? So now I just want to keep it as as a ball for the initial stage. Okay, so that's the purpose. So now just I cancel and I go back here. I think that you have got that very clear idea about all this information, right? So now we will see how to get the colors and how to apply the colors and all that other informations we will see one by one. Okay. So now from the base color, right? Here you can see the base color, right? So click the base color and drag the wire actually. You just click on the left click and drag, right? And all the functions actually is what will appear here. So for example, now I want to bring 3 constant, right? I want to bring here 3 constant. Okay. Recording is going. Yes. 3 constant vector. Okay. So now it will be automatically connected. If not, you can right click on anywhere on the screen, the graph editor, right? Okay, right click. And then you can start to give, right? Okay, you can just constant, right? 3 vector. You can just bring the 3 vector here. Then you can just connect here. Connect it to anywhere, right? So if you want to delete this wire, the connection, how you do? Okay, now what you do, you press Alt and click on the wire, you can delete, right? For example, now you have connected that RGB, the point, execute point, that one actually connected here to roughness. Now you want to switch to, you move to metallic or somewhere else, right? So without delete that the particular the one, you can switch by pressing the control, then you can just drag here and put the base color here. So this is the way you can just you can do the connections. So right now just want to delete this information. So now I have brought here the 3 vector constant, is it right? So constant, 3 vector is a constant. You double click on the black surface here. You double click on the black surface, right? You can see that the color picker, right? Okay. So you look at here, the RGB value is actually 0, 0, 0. Okay, so now if I give 1 and 1 and 1, then I can get here white color. Okay, so white. So in the other softwares, what we give for the RGB value, the values may vary from 0 to 255. In Unreal Engine, we give the value between 0 to 1, remember, right? So when I keep all that information 0, then I get black. Then when I give all 1, then I can get 1. Here is a white actually, right? Okay. So if I give red is 1 value and G is 1, what the value I can get? Any idea, any guess? So I can get here what actually? I can get here as a yellow color. Actually, when I mix with the red, 100% red, 1 is 100%, huh? 1 is 100%. When I give 100% of red and 100% of the green, when I give, then what I can get here? I can get here as what? As a yellow color I can get. Right. So this is how we can get many colors, right? Okay. So later on we will see that actually. So now I connect to this particular point. Okay. So immediately what I can view on the viewport, right? So if you want to see this information in plane, right, you can just click the plane and you can see here, right? Or maybe if you want to see in the blocks, the square blocks, also what you can view. It's very clear, right? Okay. There is another option to get a preview, right? Okay. So now what you do here, select the 3 constant vector, right? So now you just enable the start previewing node, right? Okay. So once you previewing node, then the blue indicates, actually the blue will appear on the screen, right? That shows that actually you are in previewing mode. Okay. So now once you're completed, then actually is what stop this, then it will disable. Is that clear? So now, right? Okay. I have got this information. So now previously I dragged from this and I have typed here constant, right? 3 vector. Then I enabled here, right? Okay. Then straight away I just right click. Then I will start to type on the screen. I mean that here, then I've got this information. If not, there is one soft shortcut is there actually, right? To bring the 3 vector. Press 3 on your keyboard. Press 3 on your keyboard, right? And click left mouse button. Okay, see, this is the shortcut, right? So once again, I'll do that actually. Once again, I'll do that. Press 3 and click on the screen, right? Okay, press 3 on the keyboard. And now what you do, press the mouse left key. Right, it's very simple. Okay, that's fine. That's fine actually, right? So I just connect this color here. All right. Okay, so now you know what is that actually is what 3 constant vector. and how to provide that the inputs here. Right. So we have here many inputs, base color, metallic, specular, and roughness, right? And emissive color, normal and tangent. And we have here many, right? Okay. So we will see all that informations one by one. Right. So now you can see here the material, right? The material. So in this the case, actually, the material domain is a surface. So if I just change into light functions, right? So then actually the inputs is also what is varying here, changing here, right? It depends upon that, is right? So volume, then actually is what I'm getting some different inputs, albedo, emissive color, right? And then ambient occlusion, and then all these things actually. And then by default, the blend mode is an opaque, right? Okay. So by default, actually, I want to keep it in surface, right? And then the blend mode is actually is what is opaque. So later in the next classes, maybe we will see that actually the functions about the rest of the one. So first one, I want to keep it here as a surface. Then I wanted to provide this all the information. Okay. So now you know how to bring the three constant value and how to provide that the colors, right? And how to what to connect to with the base color. Right. So this is that information, you know. So now how to apply on the static mesh, that we will see here. Right. So how to apply on the static mesh. So now what I do, yes, underscore, right, underscore. I want to get that the material preview, right? So preview. Okay, so engine, I choose engine here. Material preview. Yes, here. Matte preview mesh, right? Okay. So I just bring to the surface here. Right. Okay, so now I just choose like this. All right. First, I want to keep like this. Okay. Right. Okay. So a little bit, I can move a bit here. Then I can move it here. Is that clear, right? Or maybe I can just move around here. Then little bit I can rotate the surface. Then move a little bit. Yes, it's fine. Okay, so now I just want to control as a one to have a bookmark to keep it to record as a bookmark, right? Okay, so now second one, the view. Okay, now control 2, right? And control 3. So that easily I can switch here from 1, 2, and 3. Right. So bookmark. Earlier class, I told you, right? I'm just a set here. It's fine. Right. I just cancel all. Then I just want to keep it on the content folder. Okay. So now we will give here color, right? I just enable the color. So please remember the X, I mean that the R is 100% I have provided, and Y is a green, 100% I provided. And then I connected here, then I got here as a yellow color. And now this yellow color I'm going to apply on the static mesh. We will see how this appear. Okay, we will see that how this appear. Right. Okay. So in this the case, right? So my material, and here is my material here. And please remember, you have to save and apply. Save and apply. So now see, previously the picture was looked like was looked like a black color. Now it turns to yellow one, right? Okay, so now what you can do, you can just drag the one, right? Left click, right? Left click and drag and put it on the surface of the static mesh, right? So now you look here, looks like different, right? So now what I did, I just drag, then actually is what? Apply on the static mesh. Okay, so now I want to do that. Control Z, right? One undo, right? Okay, if not, how to apply? Okay, select the particular static mesh. You can just select from the viewport, or maybe you can select from the outliner here. Once you pick this information and then detail panel, see here, before that, I didn't select anything, so I won't get any information on the detail panel. Earlier class, I told you, is it right? So now I just click on this, then you come down, you can see here the material, is it right? So the by default, actually, which is in world grade material top, I think so, top, right? So material, right? Okay, so now this one actually is what the world grade material. Now I want to change it here. You type our material m underscore material 0, right? Okay, so now you can select from this way. You can select from this way. Again, I'll do Control Z, right? If not, you select this material, right? And straight away you go down and click this arrow here, right? Is also what you can push this information to this here, right? So there are three ways you can assign the color to the static mesh. Very clear. All right. So now you just start to what to play, right? You can just play around here. You have a look, right? You just go and then have a look around that the near the static mesh. That's nice, very nice, right? So if you want to switch, okay, I can use the bookmark to get the quick view on the viewport, right? So now I just want to go further on this, right? Okay. So what about that, the metallic and the specular and roughness and emissive color here, right? Emissive color here. Okay, so the one actually, now previously I called here 3 constant vector, right? Okay, there are actually 4 constants are available. Okay, single value constant, which is called here as a scalar, and 2 value, that is which is called that the UV, right? And then 3 vector and 4 vector, which is comes with that the additional one more information, right? Okay, later we will see that. So now I want to call as a one single constant. So press 1 on your keyboard, right? Okay, then click left click here. So one constant value, right? Or if not, then you can just go and one constant. You just type here, right? Okay, or maybe you can just what constant you type. Constant, right? Is a constant, one single constant. Is that clear, right? So now right click and constant 2 vector, right? This is the 2 vector, and then constant 3 is already we have here, right? And then constant 4 vector. So the constant 4 vector, there is an additional one more information, right? To provide that the alpha value, okay? Okay, so now I delete all this information right now. I don't want to 2 and then 4, right? So I need here as a one single value. Right. Okay, so now you look at that the inputs here. Now you look at the inputs here. By default, the roughness actually is what is a 0.5 value. Right. Metallic is a 0. And specular is also what? Is supposed to be that is a 0.5 here. Okay, so metallic, you cannot give the value between 0 to 1. You can just keep as a 0, or maybe you can keep as 1. Why? Because there is no semi-metallic. So metallic, maybe the material either metallic or non-metallic. That's all. So the value we should give here is a 0 or maybe as a 1. And the rest of the information actually is what by default will be, yeah, will I mean that assigned here as 0.5, right? Okay, so now I'm going to what to use as a one single, I mean scalar value, one single constant value to what to control this information. So now if I connect here, say example, if I connect here the roughness, so what happened here, right? So which means actually I reduced the roughness. So previously it was a 0.5 by default, right? So previously I didn't connect anything with the roughness. So by default is a 0.5, right? So now actually is what, once I connected, the value actually is what I assigned here what as a 0. So which means that I completely removed the roughness. So what happened? The material, actually the surface slightly starts to reflect something here, some like a plastic effect, I'm just getting here, right? Understand? So now I apply this information and here save, then you can see that information here. Right, okay, you can see here some kind of that is a plastic effect. Previously, right, I just take it out. Previously, I have just given here, right, is a 0.5. Is a 0.5 and apply, right? So when I just apply roughness, when I increase the roughness, right, some kind of what the surface actually turns to be as some kind of a matte. So let's say example, matte finish. So if I just want to give the value as 1, you will see that actually what happens. Then apply the value here, right? Okay, save. Right, okay. Right, so completely just what it turns to be as a plastic like a material here, because the roughness increases, right? Roughness. So if I just want to smoothen the surface, maybe I can just what I can keep here that value as a 0, right? Okay, fine. So now next one, what I can do, I want to provide another one more as a constant value, single constant value. Then I want to control that here, metallic. So now I just define very clear, there is no metallic, the same time no roughness, right? Okay, so now you apply, you can just get here some kind of a glossy touch on, not glossy touch actually, right? Completely I just want make it as a 0 here. Okay, fine. So now I increase that the roughness is a 1, right? If I want to give 1, if I completely increase the roughness, you can see here the material. Okay, so even I just increase the value of the metallic here as a 1, not 10, is a 1, right? Then what happens? Actually, it's not much of differences, but slightly I increase that as a 1, then the material will be what? Converted to as a metallic material, right? You can see here the structure. But whereas if I completely reduce the roughness, which means that if I just provide here 0, 0, then you can see the material will starts to reflect. The material starts to reflect on this. See? Right? So what I did here, I have completely reduced the roughness and provided that the metallic. Right. Okay. So now maybe I can just give a little bit of information 1 0 instead of giving us a 0 here. Right. Okay. So mild effect, which means that is which means actually is what? Some 10% I increase the I mean that I increase the roughness here. You can just get, or maybe if I just provide the 40%. So if you play around with the values, probably you can get a good idea about the meshes here. So you can see here how this material looks like this, is it right? Right. So some kind of what? The matte finish, I mean that is a very metal, real metal effect I able to what to get on the surface. Right. Okay, just nice, this one. Okay, so now you come back to here. Please remember, when I give the value of red 1 and green, I mix together, then I can find out here as a yellow color. Okay, fine. So now if I just give, right, so right now just want to disable these two things, then I want to give here as a 1 1 1 1, which is means that is a white. And if I give here maybe as a 0.66 66% of all three, then maybe as what it will be as a more than half white, then less than half the white actually I can get, right? Okay. Or maybe if I just want to give 3 3 and 3 3, I mean that is a 33% of all three, right? So what I can get here, I can get a gray, right? I can just get as an gray. If I give all 0.5, then I can get here what? So half weight, right? I can get in a half weight. So I apply, then just want to see the effect here. So now I have just got here what actually? Some kind of a gray, I have got it here. So in this, the gray, right? If I just get here what is a 1, right, value, then connect here what? Roughness. Completely I provided here as a roughness. What happened? You see here? You see here, right? So 100% I have given. So the surface looks like what? Will be just what? It looks like quite tough. Is it right? Okay. So now I want to enable the metallic here, right? So metallic here. Okay. Nothing much of differences, but I can give the value here as a 0.5, right? So here, maybe I can just give here as a 0.5. 0.5. You can see that the information, you can see some kind of a metal effect on, like just like aluminum, like a dark gray, right? Dark gray, I can get, right? So that maybe I can just apply this to a statue or something like that. I can get some kind of alloy effect on this, right? So now I apply and I see that what kind of that the information I could get here. Right? So now if you look at here, some kind of a metal effect I can bring. Right? Okay. So in this the case, right? If I completely remove the roughness, 0, if I give. So what happens? I can get a chrome here. I can get here as a chrome effect, right? Right. So once I get here as a chrome effect, then the ball actually, which is starts to auto. I mean that the surface actually is what starts to auto reflect the surroundings, right? Looks right, very clear. So now I just want to keep this value as a 0.5, right? Then I apply and save here the information. Save this information, right? Okay. So now what I can do, I can just bring another one, material, then enable here m underscore material underscore 1, right? I just double click on this and press 3, get here, connect with the base color, right? And then 33% of the gray and 33% of gray here and 33% of here, right? So I can just get a gray color and just want to give by 2 colors, right? So now Control D is to copy. Okay, so now instead of call the single, constant, I just press Control D to copy this information, right? Okay, so metallic, and now the roughness I've connected here. Roughness I want to keep it as 0. Then the metallic actually is what? Let's say example. See here, the roughness is also what? 0, and then metallic is also what? 0. I can get here what? Some kind of a plastic, perfect plastic effect. I've got it, right? You can just see the ball, right? Okay, so now I want to give here what actually is a 1 to get a chrome effect on the ball, right? To get the chrome effect on the ball. And I just want to apply in the middle of that the static mesh here, right? So this is the one actually I've got. And now I want to save this information, right? Save so that the stitch won't be appear, right? Okay, so now I can just apply in the middle portion. So now we can see here. So middle, actually, I've just given that the chrome effect, and then outside I've just given the metal effect here, right, on that the surface. Right. Okay. So now, if I want to change this, actually, to vary this information, right? So, or maybe I can just bring this is also what? Maybe I can just give some gray color, right? So maybe it's a 0.5, right? So then it's fine, apply. Then here, maybe I can just change another one more color, right? Okay, maybe I wanted to give here some kind of water. Okay. Okay, so now this one, right? So in this the case, right? Okay, so now it looks like better, much better. Right. So I just want to take copy of this, right? Is Alt, right? Is an Alt here. Okay, so now Alt and then pull so that you can just get in a copy of this, right? Right. Okay. So one more copy here, or maybe there actually. Okay. Right. Okay, fine. So, or maybe, okay. Right. Okay. So now this one, you just save and you come here. And now it's not really necessity to what to change every time. Right. So you can just, instead of creating a mini material, here you can just create as what? As an instance. So from this material, what I can do, right click and create a material instance here. So now I just want to create a material instance, right? And then I just want to give here the same, but before that, I just want to give here mi. So mi underscore material underscore 0. So this is how I just want to name it here, right? Once I have done here the material instance, right, and then apply. So I won't see anything here, right? So the one actually I've just created here, the two parameters, I mean that the two values I've just given here, right? So to control the information of a metallic and the control the information of roughness here, right? So I didn't get off those information, right, in the instance, right? Instance. Is that clear, right? So why? Because I have not converted into as a parameter, because still I have here as a constant. So what I supposed to do? Convert to parameter. Click the convert to parameter, and I can just name it as what? As a metallic. As a metallic, right? And here is also what? Here is also, I can just change it here as a constant value, right? I mean the convert into parameter, and I can just say that is a roughness. Roughness. And save and apply. Right? So you can just see here, I have got here two additional informations, global scalar parameter I have here. So once you enable here metallic and roughness, I have got here two parameters. So now I just go back here, right? I just want to, okay, material instance, I save, right? And then this actually is what this information I want to apply on here, right? Okay, so now I just want applied here material. Okay, so now select this one and apply. So now here, I mean that element 1 is a material. See, I just apply a material instant underscore material 0. Okay, so now I just applied this information, and now we can just see here, bring down. Then if I want to change the value between that metallic, increase the metallic or maybe decrease the metallic, right? So maybe I can just change here the value and increase the roughness, right? So decrease the roughness here. Maybe I can just I can set in different colors. I can set here. I mean that different values I could set here. Right? Okay. So one is fine. Then I just want to save. The another one actually, maybe I can just choose. Okay. So now again, material instance. I'd create material instance, and this time just want to give here as mi, and then here the last one, maybe I wanted to give here as what? As a 1, right? 1. Then actually I can just double click on this, right? And then enable these two parameters and save. And this one, the 1 actually I want to apply here, right? And then I want to change the color. Sorry, material instance, right? Right. So maybe I can just change here the metallic or maybe the roughness. Maybe I can just completely increase, or maybe a zero roughness, right? So I can just give 0. Then the metallic, maybe I can just give here 0.8%, right? So now save, and you have just to see that look. So different, right? So one time you create a material, and the rest maybe you can just give here as different instance you can create, and you can apply on the mesh. Understand my point? So now this is actually what the last one is, an effect of is a metal effect, and this is a kind of it's a plastic effect, and this is actually what looks like some kind of a shiny on that material. I can just bring many other informations. Is that very clear, right? Okay, so now you know how to create materials. I mean how to work on the material editor, and how to assign the colors, and how to apply on the static mesh, right? So everything very clear, you know. And now I just want to create one more material, right? Right click and material. Here I just want to show you right? As a material, right? Underscore as actually is what? As a 2, right? 1 I've created, so is a 2. Okay, so now double click on this. So do you have any questions on this? Okay, so now I want to provide some mathematical operations on this. Okay, so mathematical operations on this. Okay, so as usual, I call the three constant vector, right? Okay, and one more three constant vector, right? Okay, and here there is a function called add, right? Right click, add is a math function, is an add here. Add simple is adding that information. I'll tell you how, right? Or maybe the shortcut key is press A and click, left click here, press A on the keyboard and left click. Okay, so you can just get this information. Okay, so one thing you should understand very clear, right? Okay, by default, the value at A is 0. The B at the point B, the value is actually is what? Is a 1. But still, if you want to change, you can edit here, right? Okay, so it's up to you, right? Okay. The first information, maybe I want to keep it 1. So which means actually I want to keep as a red color. And in this, the 1 actually I want to keep here what? As a 1 here. Which means that actually I can get here what is a green color, right? Okay, so if I assign here as a 1, I can get here a green color. Then if I assign here as a what is a 1, I can get here as a red color, right? Very clear, right? Okay, so now I connect these two, 1 and 1 here, right? It's very clear, right? Okay, so now I just connect to the base color. So you please remember the previously when we give the R value red color 1 and green color 1 combined together, what we got actually the last time we got here is the yellow color, right? So the same thing actually, this actually performs like simple adding the information. So X in the first one X plus this X here. So 1 plus 0, then the answer will be what? 1. So now 0 plus 1 actually is what? The answer is supposed to be as a 1. So now the Z, the 0 plus 0, then 0. So the final output will be what? 1, 1 and 0. So 1, 1, which means that red and yellow I enable. What the color I can get here? Yellow color I can get. That's all. So this is a very simple adding information. Hope you all understand very clear. Right? Hope you all understand very clear. Right? Okay. So when I enable the X1 and here is a Y1. So I just want to add these two information. Then the final output will be what? 1, 1 and 0. So when I enable the information of R and green, then the output what I can get here, yellow color, right? Yellow I can get. That's all. Very simple. Okay, this is the one information you should know. Second information, okay, so I connect here the base color. So now why I have got here a white here? Because by default, from the A actually is what is a black, and the B actually is what is a 1. So 1 plus 0 is providing me as what is a 1 answer. So which means that actually is what is a base color is what is a 1 here. So let's say example, if I change back to 0 here, right? So turns to be what? Will be as a black. Understand? So black. So why? By default actually is what? 2 will be as a 0 and 0. Okay. So now if I just change back to 1, and here is also what? If I change here is also what? Is a 1 plus 1 actually is what? Is a 2. So more than of 1, anything then becomes what? White. So more white. That's all. Right? It becomes a more weight. That's all. So now I just make it as a 0 here. Okay, very clear. Okay, so now let's say example is a very clear. Now I apply the red color on the point of A, but still I have got here something what actually white color I have got it. Why? The problem is what actually? Because this actually the red enables that one, and this the one B information one is actually is what add all here, then provides here what actually it provides here as a white color, right? So let's say example, if I connect the same point, right? If I just connect the same point to B, right? So the B will be disabled, and what the point I provided here that will work. And from the A, actually, what is by default? If you're not connected to this particular point A, then actually the preset value will work on this. So just understand that easily. So if you work one or two times, then easily you can understand the logic behind the logic, right? Okay. So now you can see here when I just connect here 0 plus already is a 1 information. So 1, the first one R is actually is what red color. 0 plus 1 is a 1. Then the rest of the two information, green is 0, and then Z is also 0. So I can get that the same red color here. Okay, so now if I disable that all this information, right, as usual, then what happens? What I provided, so this A and B, the preset value will be disabled, and what that the input I provided to the add function, that will work. So this is actually, you should understand very clear on this, how it works. Okay, so this is actually is what is a add function. Okay, now I delete this add, and now I want to introduce the function of multiply, right? So the shortcut key is actually is what? Press M. Press M. Shortcut key is actually press M, right? And then click on the graph editor. Right, press M. Or if not, you can just start to multiply. Then you can get here, multiply. Okay. Okay, multiplication is a very simple multiplication, that's all. So now let's say example, here's a 0 and 1. If I didn't connect anything here, by default, what the answer I can get here? What the answer I will get? 0 times into 1 will be what? Will be as a 0. So I can get here what? By, actually is a black color. Whereas the add function 0 plus 1, I can get here what? White color by default. Right, that's the difference actually. So now if I just connect here the point, right? So what the color I can get here? Because now this is the 1. So the 1 into 1, a red color, and the rest of the two information is what? 0 and 0. So 1 into multiply with the 0, all 0. So I can get here what? The red color I can get. So let's say example, if I connect this the same point here to the B, what happens? I can get the black color. Why? Because why? This 0 will be multiplied with all the numbers, then all the numbers becomes what? 0, 0, 0. Then I can get here what? It's a black color. That's all. Okay, so now let's say example, if I just connect here to A, and now I connect here is what? Is a B, which means that 1 times of 0, 0, 0 times of 1 is also what? 0, and 0 times of the 0 is also what? 0. So still I get what here as all is a black color. So it's a simple mathematics, simple multiply function. So I bet you can just use in many applications with this. So I want to tell you about the logic, how it works actually. Right, very clear, right? Okay, so now if I just give different colors, for example, so let's say example 0.33, right? Maybe it's a 0.66. I mean that 66% of red color, and then again 33% of the one actually blue color enable, right? So now I have got here some like a green color, and here actually I want to give 66%, right? And here is also 66%. I mean pink color. I can just get the 66% of this color, right? So I can get here. Okay, so now I want to reduce a bit, right? So I don't want to keep it as what gray. So now I just mix with these two shades, then I've got here this particular the shade, right? So that's the functions. So 0.66 times of 0.66, something like that. The more than of 1.2 red shade is becomes what is whitish, something white color. Then this is that the information we have got it here. right? Okay. So now I just want to show you another one. The same way you can try with the subtract, and then divide, right? So the same way you just divide. I mean, same way you try yourself, right? And then divide functions, right? Divide. Um, 1 second, huh? Okay. So divide here. Okay, so you give a try, and then by default is a 1, 2, and then here is what? So 1, 1. You try with this the information and explore all the other informations. Excuse me. So now I want to show the LERP actually. So LERP means actually is what? Linear interpolation. So you can just use this linear interpolation, right? Okay, so linear, Linear linear interpolation, right? Interpolation, right? Linear interpolate. You can just get here, right? Or maybe the shortcut key to bring this as actually is what? L. L is the shortcut key. Right, L is the shortcut key. Say example, again, if I just want to keep, here's what, because it's easy to understand, I want to keep it as a red color, right? I enable all this information. I mean that I disable all that the green and blue. I want to keep here as a red is a 1. So I'll get here 1. I connect to this particular point. And here is also what I want to keep it as a 0. And here is also what 0. Then here actually is what, sorry, here is supposed to, I want to give here 1. And here actually is what 0. So I enable here as a green. So I connect these 2 points here. Understand? Right. So the alpha value, you can see here, the alpha value actually I have just provided here as a 0.5. So what the color I can get here? Yellow color. What happens? This is actually is what is a kind of a gradient work. So the shade actually is what I can get here. The color between the mixing of the color between the red and green, then I can get that the exactly 100%. Then I can get here what actually yellow, right? Okay. Let's say example, if I just keep this value, the alpha value is a 0, then you can see here what happens. So completely actually is what is a red. Understand my point? So the graph, you can just imagine yourself, there's a one graph actually. On your left hand side, if completely I reduce that the green information, right? So which means that if I keep the value as a 0, then I can get here what? Output as a what? As a red. So let's say example, if I just move the slider 2 on my right hand side, right? So which means that I enable completely the green channel, right? Then what happens? If I just keep here what is a 1, then I can get here as actually is what? I can get that the particular green color I can get here. So if I bring middle actually, so which means that 50% I mix with that the red and 50% I mix with the green color so that I can get here what? Some kind of yellow color I can get here. I mean that 8 color, right? So now what I can do, some more, I want to clearly, if I want to explore this, right? So I can just keep it as 1 as a single constant value, or maybe I can a scalar value. The parameter scalar value is also what I can just bring here. Scalar value is also what I can just bring, right? So here I can just give the alpha parameter, right? Alpha parameter. Maybe I can just give the parameter. And now I just connect here. This is actually what? It's a parameter. I just save this file. I mean that save. Right? Okay, so this is the one, is it right? So now I want to create as a material instance. Material instance. So MI, then enter. right? Okay, so now I just double click on this and keep it as a separately here, separate window, right? Okay, so now if you want to bring any anything like a color here, maybe, okay, now mine. So we'll just continue here. So just you keep here. Now you can see here the alpha. I've got the alpha, right? Okay, alpha, right? Okay. So now you can just start to move the zero. If I want to keep it as here from zero value to, right? So I increase a bit 0.15, right? So the color actually is what will starts to vary between red to yellow, right? Turn is this what turn into that yellow color here. So when I just keep here 50%, I've got here yellow. So if I just go more than yellow 0.5 50%, the color will vary from yellow to again green color. You can see here, right? So if I just keep here what is a 1 is actually is what supposed to be as a green color. So it's kind of what. So more than 1, if I just go, so nothing actually happens. So less than of the 0, I just go with some colors I can get here. So you can just vary between that the 0 to 1, right? So the gradient actually I can get here. See, or maybe this color, right? Okay, so I can just get like this actually. So this is the basic understanding. You should know very clear. Right. This is how you can switch the color, right? You can use as a switch, right? To switch the color between these two that informations. Is that very clear, right? So we have discussed about that the mathematical functions of lerp, right? And then the other information also we have discussed here. Okay. I hope that you all understand very clear, right? If not, later you drop mail, right? So that I can answer you, or maybe if you want, you can WhatsApp me, right? I can help you. Okay, fine. So there's one more thing actually. I want to convert you, right? So 1 plus, I mean that. So let's say example here, one minus, right? 1 minus. Say, you see here, I have given that the information is a 1 and 1 and 1, right? So when I connect here, all it will be changed into reverse, which means that all the 1 becomes 0. So what naturally I can get here? I can get the black color. So 1 minus means that will reverse that information, right? Okay, so 1 minus that will reverse that information. So we just did, right? Okay, so let's say example, if I just give so 0.33 or maybe it's a 0.33, right? So is 0.33, you know that actually what's supposed to get? We have to get some kind of a gray color, is it right? So less than of the 0.5 is a 0.5 is off white, and 0.25 is a some more, right? Quarter white, is it right? Which looks like how it looks like a very dark gray. But here, if I just give as a 1, 75% of that information I can get here. Because why? Say example, see, this is the supposed to get the color, right? Gray color. But whereas I'm getting here what? More than half white. 75% I've just got, because the value 1 minus will reverse everything. So if I directly connect here, I can get here what? Actually, this is the color I can get. Right. So instead of getting by this way, so I'm just using, if I use this way, then I can get here more than half white I can get. So this is the function 1 minus, right? So 1 minus, right? So you can call here 1 minus, right? Or maybe press, O, right? And then left click, right? The shortcut key, O and left click, okay? I that very clearly, I hope that you all very clearly understand this information, right? So this is the very first introduction material class, material introduction class, right? So, okay, next one, I want to go, right, with the textures, right? So how to bring the textures here? right? So I just select the content folder, and I'm going to want to use the filter here, right? So texture, I enable the texture, then I could be able to what to, I mean that I able to see all the texture here, right? Okay. So in this, the texture I want to bring here, I mean, here texture underscore brick. So the clay brick here, right? Okay. So this is the one. So T brick, or maybe the old one. Maybe I can just use this one. Brick clay old, right? The displacement map. Maybe I can use this one. So I can just click hold here, go to this window, then I can drop here. This is one method. But this actually is what is quite difficult, right? Okay. So if not, then what you do, you just click here, select here, right? You select the texture here, select the texture and go to the material editor and press the T button on your keyboard, right? And press the left mouse button. Okay, so very simple. Then you can just get those information. So you can see here, T brick clay wood, right? If not, then let's say example, this information you want to bring. Okay, go back here and then just press this one here. Then immediately what will be automatically changed. So the three way you can just what bring this information to the material editor. Right, very clear, right? Let's say example again. I want to switch back to now. I don't want to bring. I want to bring that the clay brick clay mold, right? So this information I want to bring. So I go back here, then press. Very simple. Right. Okay. So now this is actually is what if I want to switch without deleting that information. If not, then choose the particular the one, right? The T brick clay mold normal map also I need. So maybe I can just choose the normal map, right? Okay. So I can just keep beside here the normal map. Then later on, I can just work on this. Right, okay. Okay, so fine. So now I just want to apply the base color. Right, apply the base color here. Okay, very clear. I can get that the color very clear. Right, okay. Okay. So now if I look at that, the channel, wow, nice. So now save and go back to the material editor here. Go back to the material editor and I want to apply this on the flow. Right. So now disable the texture, go back to my material and where actually I have done here material, is it right? So this is the one, right? So now I want to apply on the flow. Right. So I just apply on the flow here. But you see, but is the stones are so too big, right? It won't provides that the realistic on that the surface here. You can see the my character. Oh my god, it's a worse actually. Right? Okay, so now this one actually is not looking proper ways, right? So better I need to what to change, right? So if I reduce the stone size, right? If I reduce the stone size, then make number of stones more, many more number of the stones, then it will looks like very perfect actually. Right, okay. So this actually, how to achieve this? So we have to provide that UV tiling method, right? Okay, UV tiling method. So text coordinate or the shortcut key, press U on your keyboard and press the mouse button. Okay, I mean the left click. Okay, once again I will do. Once again I will do. Press U on the keyboard and left click. Right, is a text coordinate method. Right. This actually you have to connect here. This is which is called that UV tiling method, UV tiling. Okay, UV tiling. So now we can see here. So now the text coordinate, you can see, if you reduce a 0.5, for example, already is a 1 is there. So 0.5 means that what happened? You will increase the size, which means that you will get only one number of the stone, right? Only one number of the stone. See, so if you apply, I mean, save and apply, you can see here some more stitching, right? So only one stone I've got it here. So when you reduce that, there is only one stone, which is also not so clear on the surface. So, but if I increase here as 100, right? The x direction is 100, then y direction is also what? Is 100. If I just increase that 100 here, right? Here I couldn't see that, right? So too many information, so that I couldn't see it very clear. So if I just go a bit close, then I able to what to see all the stones, right? So if you just keep here, right? If you just keep here, right, also surface may be able to what to see. But never mind, you apply, save and apply, then you go back to that your main level scene, and then you see here, but too many stones, right? So you can see here, oh, nice, looks very nice. But if I reduce the numbers a bit, actually, it looks like this more, right? More perfect, is it right? So now what I can do, I go back here, and then I just want to reduce a bit here, maybe as a 50 and 50, or maybe as a 40, 35 or 35, maybe would be nice actually, right? So now I apply, save and apply. Yes, this is looks better. Looks better. Some more, if I reduce a bit here, or maybe 35 and 35. So this is called that actually UV tiling method. So I just want to show you with some application, direct state application. And don't forget to save and apply. Don't forget to save and apply. Okay, so now you can just look at around here. Wow, it looks very perfect actually, right? Okay, so apply. So now the stones looks very perfect, and then looks very near real on the surface, is it right? Yes. Right? Yes. Very nice. Looks very nice. Okay. So you just you try with this that functions, and then you look at that UV tiling method, and then maybe you can just multiply with this information, and then you can have an additional one scalar value, and then you can just give convert into parameter, then material instance, you can adjust the values, then many other informations also we could do it actually. But next class maybe I'll show you, right? Next class I'll show you those information. Okay. Okay, the final last two information, right? The final last information. I want to create as a material again, M underscore as a material. Now it's a 3, material underscore 3, right? Okay, so now I just double click on this and then save all that informations. Right, okay. So here, I just want to import the texture. Here in this folder itself, I want to import that one texture here from my, you can just drag, I mean that you can just drag and drop also you can do, but the thing is that actually is what that will be open. I mean that the JPEG or maybe the PNG file is also what will be there, right? So it's not advisable. So what you can do here, you can just go and import, right? import here. So now D drive and the material, right? Okay. So where I kept here. So Moses, yes, texture here. Yes, okay. This texture I want to bring to this object, right? Okay. So I can just drag, but instead of doing this one, I want to export this information. I've got here texture. Is it right? Okay. Okay. So now I click this texture. This texture you can see here. All right. Okay. I have here three information R, G, B, and alpha, right? So if I disable all, right? Okay, I disable. So if I want to enable, if I enable the blue, then I could get here only the blue information. If I enable the G green, but don't expect what to get in a green color, but the source actually the information way which is available that will be reflect on that the screen. So now if I enable the green, then I can get that green information. Then I can get here what is a red color information. Understand? Okay. So this texture, right? I want to bring here. I select here. Then I go back to the material 3, right? So this actually is what is a texture. I want to bring it to the material 3 editor. So now press T and left click on your mouse, then you can get. Understand? So now you can see here, this is actually is what is an instant, right? So now RGB, I connect here, right? I could just what? I can get all that the information. Okay, so now if I just take only that red information, then what happens? Only the circle will appear, right? You see here how easy you can separate that informations, right? Okay. So now if I want to connect that the green, right? Okay. So now in this the case, but here the base color will accept only one information, right? But I want to I want to send the green and red information together, right? So I want to appear only that the box frame and then the circle, right? So how I achieve this information? I mean that how I just what do. So better what? Add function, right? So you just add red and green and then you connect to what to the base color so that you can get that these two information. That's all. Very simple. Very simple. So now you can understand that where this the mathematics I mean that the math operations HLSL codes can help us, right? Okay, so now you can understand very clear. So there is another one more thing, right? If I just apply, let's say example, one constant value I take here, right? So I want to give some color here, right? Let's say example, this color, blue color, right? So this color, one multiplication, I got the multiplication, I connect here, then I just what? Connect, then I will connect to the base. You understand? First information from the texture, I have separated that information, right? The two information I add together. Then I provided one color, and this color I want to apply to the information, and together just want to pass to that the information. So that what happens here? I can just change the color by itself, right? Okay. So now if I want to change a bit of what the red color, I mean the blue color indications, anything is possible. So let's say example, I just remove this one, right? Okay, this is a one sector. Then I just take here add right? Okay. So because this one actually I want to give as a 0, right? Okay. So 0 value. So that is what actually. Okay. So this add function is not really necessity. For example, is not a real necessity. So maybe I can just give us a 1 value here, then very simple value, right? Okay. So I can just give here, right? Then one more color if I want to give 3, right? Then actually I just multiply here, or maybe some kind of yellowish color. Yes, it's the frame, right? So one more multiplication, right? Okay, so I give this multiplication, or maybe here, sorry. Okay, so this is the one, the B I supposed to give, and then the degree channel I just give here, right? So I want to add these two. So now here's a what is add these two. Then I just want to pass this information. So what I did, I've got that the red color information. I multiplied with the blue color, and then I've got that the green color information. I multiply with that yellow color, and just together join together, then pass to. I mean that I want to pass that these two information to the base color. So I use add function to put that informations. Understand my point, right? So in addition to this, if I want to do any small modifications on that, the green information, what I can do here, I can, same thing, maybe one more add function, I can just give, for example, one more add. So instead of giving this add here, then this actually is what B, and then 1 actually is what I can give. So I can get it as a blue color as it is. I mean that the white color as it is. So if I want to change the color, then one more color I can assign, then multiplication, then I can just join. So in this way, you can segregate that information separately and then apply the color. And you can just get that the realistic on your scene. Right, okay. Right, is that very clear, right? Okay. Okay, so I just erase this one, delete and then delete all that information, right? Okay. So let's say example, if I just give, you see here, I've got all the information. So frame, circle, and the inside one simple dash, right? Okay, if I use 1 minus of this, what happened? So wherever I have got colors, right? So all that actually is what turns to be as a black, and the black actually is what turns to be as a white. Why? Because all the colors actually is what get signal, which means that all is a 1. And the behind the black actually is what is a 0. So when I connect to this and to be here, right, all that the black surface becomes white, and all the colors will turn to as a black. You check here. Right, okay, black, and then yes. It's correct actually. So now if I just give here, okay, then that will happen here. Right, okay, yes. So previously that information, but when I give here, what happens, right? So the colors actually is what apply. I mean that the one green actually is what turn exactly into the opposite direction, and the red is also opposite direction, and the blue actually is what in the opposite. And then we're just getting that actually. If I just what connect here, then I can get here what actually like this. So please remember that 1 minus actually is what you can get that you can that will help us to reverse that information, right? Reverse that information. Is that very clear, right? Okay. So the last one, one information I want to show you. Earlier, I show you that UV tiling method, right? The UV tiling method, right? So the coordinate, actually text coordinate, right? But here is, you can understand very clear. I show you on the brick, right? I show you on the brick, right? So this color, actually, I want to I want to show you by here. Okay, very clear. So now you see here, 1 and 1. When I give here 1 and 1, you can see, if I give as a only 2, right? 2 in x direction. So x component, I can get here the 2 portions. X component, I can get here what is the 2 portions, right? X component, I can get here so 2 components. Okay, let's say example, if I just give as a 3, I can get here what? The 3 portions. Right. So for example, if I just here make it as a 1, and then actually this is actually is what x and y. The way what we say that UV, it's actually is what it's called that x and y here, right? So maybe if I just give as a 2, right, the 2 rows I can get, or maybe if I just give here as a 3, right, it's a 3 rows I can get here. Understand? So if I just give as a 3 by 3, then 3 by 3, 9 portions I can get. You can see here, right? Actually, the brick, actually, when we give the value of what? Some, yes. So now we have given 35 by 35. Then we have got here that tiling, right? UV tiling method, is right? Okay. Is that very clear, right? Okay. So if I just give here's what? 0.5 and 0.5. So one is a 0.5, 0.5. Then half image maybe I can get. So clearly understand how it works. So if I just give as a 1, then 1, I can get here 1 information. Here you can easily understand. So that's why, because brick you may not understand very clear. So 2 by 2 or maybe a 4 by 4. You just imagine. Right? Is it right? So it's very clear. Okay. Okay. So now the last one, the material, the material 2 here, I have not connected that the normal map here. Right. Okay. So the normal map I have not connected. Right. Okay. So now for example, first I just want to give here so 1 and 1. I want to show you, right? You can see here the normal map actually is a displacement we have given. When I use the normal map, that will give us a more dense. I mean that more depth I could understand. I mean that I could get very clear on the surface. That's the one actually I can get here. So I just connect to that the normal map to the normal one. You see here what happens. You can see here. So it's more clarity and more depth I can get here, right? Understand? Is it right? Very clear, is it right? So if I just disable that, actually, I won't get. Right. So the 3D effect, I mean that. So it's more very clarity, depth, that the information I can get. So I'll explain you about that the normal things actually in the next class. Maybe I'll show you those information. Right. Okay. Those information. And then again, I want to change back to the tile here. Maybe 25 to what? To 25. I'll give, then enter. Right. And then save and apply. You can see here now it's like a more realistic work on the surface, right? You can see here. Right. Okay. So now we can start to play. Right. Or maybe we can just give us a 30 because the stones looks quite big, right? Maybe I can just give for 30 and then check once again. Maybe 30 or 30 here. Now mind, later we have many other informations also. You can adjust the values. Yes, it looks like very perfect actually now. Okay, so now all to P. Okay, it's fine. Right. Okay, that's all about the today session, today class, right? I think that I have just provided all the necessity from basic information, right? In the today class, actually, we discussed recap of that today class. Actually, we have started with the materials and introduced the material editor, right? And then how to assign the colors to the static mesh, and then we worked on three constant vector and single constant vector, right? And then we worked on with the textures, and we used as an instance, right? Why instance used, and then how to create convert into parameters, right? And then the UV tiling, and then the mathematical functions like what, add, multiply, and lerp, right? And then those informations and where it could be applied and how to export that, the texture, and all that the informations today we discussed, right? Okay, so we will continue the session in the next class, right? In the next session maybe we'll continue, right? And then if you have any questions, then you drop mail. Okay, you drop mail or maybe you WhatsApp me, I'll reply you, and then I'll just stop the class now. Thank you everyone, thank you. Thank you. Bye.